We're going to talk about amplitude modulation now. Amplitude modulation is a simple synthesis technique. It's used in a variety of ways, and so let's take a look. Amplitude modulation is simply multiplication. There's a mult function in Nyquist. There's the multiplication operator in Nyquist that you can use. Amplitude modulation or multiplication in the time domain corresponds to convolution in the spectral domain. Okay, so what's convolution? Well, for the examples we're looking at, what convolution does is for each sinusoid in the modulator, the modulated signal is shifted up and down in frequency by the frequency of the modulator. Let's try to look at this with a diagram. Here is shown in the dashed line is what we'll call the carrier frequency. Let's say the original signal, and let's say it's 880 hertz. Okay, we're going to modulate it with a frequency of 220 hertz. So that means while the original signal is here, it disappears, and that signal is shifted by the modulator down by 220 hertz to 660 hertz, and it will be shifted upwards as well by 220 hertz. We have a sound example here where the modulation frequency actually ramps from 0 up to 220, and so you should hear originally the frequency that the signal that we start with, 880 hertz carrier, and then you'll hear it sort of split in two and become what are called sidebands, a lower sideband and an upper sideband, which move apart as time progresses and the frequency increases. Now, the next example, we're going to do the same thing, but the carrier, instead of a sinusoidal carrier, we're putting in a complex signal, which is the cello sound you've heard before. Okay, now that sounds very strange, in part because although we started with harmonic musical tones where the partials were multiples of the fundamental frequency, when we shift these partials up and down in frequency, they no longer have an integer multiple relationship to each other because we've added this offset. So this technique, or this sound, is called ring modulation, and ring modulation is named after the ring modulator, an analog approach to signal multiplication. What I'd like to do now is switch to Nyquist and go through some more examples of amplitude modulation. So we will start by playing two sine tones. We're going to multiply 1000 by 500, and so you would expect this 1000 to be split into a lower sideband of 1000 minus 500 and an upper sideband of 1000 plus 500. So let's listen to that. Okay. Now we'll do something similar, but we're going to, the modulator is going to be generated by this Hertz-Osk function, which takes a frequency as input, and our input frequency will be a ramp. It goes from 100 to 2000 hertz. This means that the lower sideband is going to start at 500 hertz. It's going to go down beyond 0, down to minus 1500 hertz, which will be, as we go into increasingly negative frequencies, that will be perceived as increasingly positive frequencies. So you'll hear this lower sideband sort of wrap around at 0 and start coming back up again, hopefully. Let's try it. Okay, one more time. So I hit replay. Okay, now let's do a ring modulation example. We're going to load the piano synthesis library. We're going to define the function tone to be a call on the piano note, and we'll make a sequence of tones to construct a melody. And so let's play it. And now let's multiply that melody by oscillator pitched at D3. Let's look now at amplitude modulation by low frequency sine waves. Here's an example where we take plucked sound and multiply it by LFO, which is low frequency oscillator, frequency of 6. Okay, now the pulses that you hear are actually not occurring at 6 hertz, they're occurring at 12 hertz. And that's because every time the low frequency oscillator goes up and back down, we hear one pulse above 0 and back to 0. And then on the negative swing, another pulse is generated. It's just multiplied by -1, so the phase, or the phase switches, but we get another pulse. So we're actually, what we multiply by is going up and down and up and down. What we hear is pulse up, pulse up, pulse up at double the frequency, or 12 hertz. What we can do to both control the depth of modulation, we might not want it to go all the way back to 0, and also to eliminate this sort of frequency doubling from 6 to 12 hertz, is we can add an offset to the LFO. So we're going to use 2 plus LFO, and in fact, let me, it might be useful to plot that. So we're going to plot 2 plus LFO of 6, and well, that's not the greatest of plots because you can't really tell where the origin is. So how about if I do sequence of constant of 0 for 1/10 of a second, just so 0 will appear in the graph, and then we'll follow that by 2 plus LFO. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's 0 down at the bottom of the graph. Here is 2 plus LFO. So you can see that the signal goes up to 3, down to 1, up to 3, down to 1. And the amplitude is varying now at 6 hertz. So let's play that. Okay, so a pluck of about 4 seconds multiplied by this amplitude vibrato. We can make vibrato shallower by scaling the LFO. Okay, and you see the plot. In the plot, the vibrato gets shallower. Play my example here. We can change the scale factor to get deep vibrato, deeper, whatever you want. And we can make the vibrato time varying. So here what we're going to do is return an envelope multiplied. Oh, sorry. Let's do this. Here's the plot. So we're going to take this envelope and we're going to multiply it by the LFO so that the LFO starts out very shallow and increases in intensity. Okay, maybe that's more musically pleasing. So the point of all of this is that with control functions and envelopes, you can get very interesting time-varying behavior, and you can customize and tailor fine details of the sound like vibrato to make them do what you want. So we discussed the difference between LFO of 6 and 2 plus LFO of 6 and other variations on amplitude vibrato. So that constant offset is often very important. So to sum up some of the things we've been talking about, going back a talk or two, dithering is used to avoid quantization artifacts. Remember that? Oversampling is a standard technique to move some filtering into the digital domain. I hope you remember that. And we've just been talking about amplitude modulation. When you amplitude modulate by a sinusoid, that shifts the spectrum up and down by the frequency of the modulator. And we also looked at many cases of amplitude modulation by a slow-moving function, both sinusoids that can produce vibrato and just multiplication by envelopes, which can be used to shape the sound.